Day. It's an honor to receive memento from a learned person like V.R. Krishnan. Otherwise, I will not say what is to be done. As regards the topic today, it's a most disputed topic. I don't know how far you have been handling indirect taxes. The Central Excise Act is as old as 1944, Pre-Independence Act. That time we had the provision, we did not have any provision on the credit side. Somewhere in 68 or so, a concept of pro forma credit was introduced. The pro forma credit concept was that if the input falls in the same tariff item in which the output falls, then the credit will be available. Credit of excise duty paid will be available. Otherwise, no credit will be available. Which means it was a very restricted credit which was given. Then Mr. V.P. Singh became the Prime Minister or Finance Minister. He introduced the concept in 1986. What is known as a mod VAT, modified value added tax. And he said, I will give credit in respect of all the input. That time there was no service tax on the input services. So I will give the credit in respect of all the inputs which are used in relation to manufacture of goods. That was being done. We have a lot of dispute, what is input and all that. Then in 1994, 1st March 1994, the credit of excise duty paid on the capital goods was granted to the manufacturer. So you had credit on input, you use capital goods for the purpose of manufacture of goods, plant, machinery or the motor or something. And the way definition of capital goods was drafted, it said capital goods used in manufacture of goods, for the purpose of manufacture of goods. And the department always, interpret any beneficial provision in a very restricted manner. So they said the capital good definition will be only that, restricted to only those machinery which actually takes part in the process of converting raw material into finished product. So you have reactor vessels, you have cables attached to it, you have motor attached to it, you have electrical switches attached to it, pipeline attached to it. They said these do not take part in the process of manufacturing. Only the reactor vessel is the item on which the credit will be granted. And therefore you find that practically all the manufacturing company received the show cause notices in respect of denial of credit on capital goods. This went on for 10 years and finally the government amended the law, the Supreme Court in the case of Jawahar Mill defined what is plant and what is machinery. That is how the matter ended up. Then it came the input services. The tax on input services was levied with effect from 1994, as you all know. But the credit for the first time was granted in 2002, August 2002 it was granted. Before that, only tax was collected on input services. No credit of the input services allowed either to service provider or to a manufacturer also. Then 2002 to 2004, the credit was restricted to only service provider. And in 2004, it has merged with the service provider and the manufacturer. Both the sectors are not getting the credit. And you find on input services there has been a spread of litigation that outdoor catering service not eligible for credit, commission on sales not eligible for credit. There are so many of them by which the show cause notices are there, the credit is not eligible. Finally, tribunal consistently held that for all this credit will be available. The reason why I gave you all this background is the definition in the phrases in the definition of input services and capital goods went on changing from 68 onwards till 2004, and every change resulted in the show cause notice by the department. Every change. Therefore, those who are practicing indirect taxes, I mean, Vikram was mentioning that I was the first. I knew that this is the way it happens in the indirect taxes. Now in 2016 or 17 in GST, the phrase has changed. Earlier it was in or in relation to manufacture of goods. Then it came all the goods used in the factory for the manufacture of goods. And now we have the phrase, the input used for making outward supply, intended to make outward supply in course or furtherance of business. The new phrase, in course or furtherance of business, is tremendously wide than the earlier all phrases which are used. I will explain that when it comes to. But let me tell you, I can tell you now also, that it will take at least 2 decades for you to, I mean those who are very young will see that, I don't know how many of us will stay there, but we will see that there will be number of litigation on that phrase. The concept with which the department works is that the relationship between the input and output must be established. For example, when they took the denial of credit on outdoor catering, we had explained to them, so you can't run a factory without complying with the Factories Act. Section 46 of the Factories Act says that when you employ more than 250 workers, you have to have a outdoor canteen facility in the factory. So can you run a factory without complying with Factories Act? If you do that, tomorrow the factory license will be cancelled. And therefore you can't manufacture. He says, no, manufacture to udhar andar hota hai. That is a welfare measure you are giving to the workers. That is the mindset we are having of the department. And therefore, I mean, these are the ways we can go on. Effluent treatment, chemicals and so on and so forth. Items are there. On that particular phrase which is now used, you will find when the actual comes into picture, so many issues will come around. The point here is, when we had these problems in excise, we used to have only 1.25 lakh SSCs, around 1.25, 1.3 lakh SSCs. When service tax came, it became 15 to 17 lakhs. And in GST, you must have read, they are planning to give 65 lakh registration provisionally. Any such dispute taken with one SSC will result in not less than 5 lakh show cause notices to keep us employed for decades together. Because today, in tribunal, we are contesting the appeal which we have filed in 2005. We are in 2016, September around 10 साल तो पहले ही पीछे हैं. And by the time this GST comes, and I mean I am talking only input credit, there are so many problems in supply and other things. So you don't worry, those who look very young here, they have a very bright future if they practice in GST on that basis. With this background, let me start with my presentation. As you all know, there have been a lot of newspaper report and all that, friends. GST will come from 1st April 2017. You take it for granted and tell all your clients that be prepared to be ready from 1st April.